What's up, my friends? Welcome to another video. I'm Stuart. I'm here to help you get your skin and your overall health back on track. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my experience with being absolutely addicted to steroid creams and cortisone creams, and then what I did in order to deal with the topical steroid withdrawal, which happens when you stop taking those creams when trying to heal your skin. So the video is going to be focused on those two subjects, and before we get really into the nuts and bolts, for those of you who are new to this channel, I've been skin disease free for 9 years. I've also been, over the last 8 years probably, maybe even 9 years, helping people, coaching people through the process of healing their skin naturally without drugs, customizing their diet, customizing their lifestyle, customizing their cleansing and detoxification practices, so that they can naturally heal their skin as well. So this video is going to be more focused on my direct experience. I might throw a little bit of information and data in from my client work as well, but I do want to really focus on what I went through, the addiction to steroid creams that I had, and how I dealt with T.S.W. Did I quit cold turkey? Did I wean off? I think these are really important and nuanced things to understand when trying to heal your skin. So let's back up 10, 15, 20 years back when I was a younger dude. My eczema, dermatitis, and psoriasis, and rosacea, and I did have all of those diagnoses. Were they legit? You never know when you go to a dermatologist, really, if they're just throwing stuff out or if they actually really know, like, okay, this is truly eczema, and this is truly eczema 5, and this is truly dermatitis, and this is truly sebderm. But needless to say, my scalp, my sternum, my face, my elbows, backs of my knees, my hands, my feet, and random other spots here and there would get really, really flared up and really gnarly. You guys know what it's like. The worst that it got was in my mid to late 20s. That's when it went from being bad to being absolutely out of control and kind of demolishing my life. During my 20s and up until the year that I finally healed my skin, so during that kind of like 10-year stretch, I was using every steroid cream and every cortisone cream I could get my hands on, including really harsh, strong ones from my dermatologist and the weakest cortisone ones that you can get from basically any supermarket. But needless to say that on a weekly basis, there wasn't 1 week where I didn't use it. A lot of times, especially during flare-ups, I was smothering steroid creams on my arms and on my face and on my scalp and on my sternum non-stop. I'm talking 15 times a day, 10 times a day. So I was using quite a bit of steroids. Now, when it came to the part for me when I finally said, you know what, I need to get off all prescriptions, I need to stop taking whatever pills, I need to stop taking all of the topical treatments, including cortisone, including steroids, and really focus on healing my skin from the inside out, which is what finally actually cured me. I was faced with the dilemma that most of you guys are faced with right now. If you're watching this video, you most likely are in this place. You're in the place of, okay, I've been taking the steroid creams. I know I need to stop because I can't really heal my skin fully while taking steroid creams because of their effect on the hormones and all sorts of stuff. So what do you do? Do you wean off? Do you just slowly taper the amount of steroids that you're using or cortisone creams and then just live with what happens? You know, maybe the healing process is slower. Or do you jump off the cliff with both feet, quit cold turkey, and which one might actually lead to healing faster? So let's break it down a little bit. I'll give you the experience that I had, and this will lead into the T.S.W. discussion as well. So for me, I'm kind of a cold turkey, jumping with both feet, just make it happen and refine and learn as you go type of person. So that's what I did. And I think luckily, and this is probably not a lucky thing, but it's just the way my path was, I quit the cortisone creams and the steroid creams, boom. I literally threw them all away, and that was the last time I'd ever used them. Just done. And what happened to me was it caused major flare-ups. It allowed my eczema and my dermatitis and my psoriasis to really pop up and be very aggressive for about a 3-month period. Now, during this 3-month period, I might have been going through some pretty heavy topical steroid withdrawal, but I don't really have an idea if I was or I wasn't, because I couldn't see the surface of my skin. I couldn't see the areas that were the steroid abused areas. So in my mind, it was like I'm just having really bad flare-ups because it looked just like my normal flare-ups, just worse. So I didn't really focus personally on, okay, I have to really address the T.S.W, and in a separate way, I have to really address the eczema and dermatitis itself. What I've also noticed working with a ton of people, I've worked with over 1,500 people, is that many people think that they have to do something drastically different to heal from T.S.W than they do to heal their skin, which, yes, T.S.W, topical steroid withdrawal, is not the same as eczema, dermatitis, and psoriasis. Topical steroid withdrawal comes from when your body becomes dependent on using those hormonal creams to elicit an inflammatory response, kind of based on your body's autonomic nervous system inflammatory response, which has connections to cortisone and all sorts of different neurotransmitters and hormonal responses in the body. When you use the steroid creams, it's very similar to men who abuse steroids to get buff. Your body will stop producing or slow down its ability to produce those hormones that are actually helpful, and they're guarding you and they're healing you and they're helpful. I said that twice, so it must be super helpful. But once you have taken the cortisone creams off and the steroid creams have stopped, your body goes through a period where it doesn't know what the heck to do hormonally. It freaks out, and for a lot of people, T.S.W can lead to hyperpigmentation, red skin syndrome, almost like a heated, itchy rash. I've had clients and I've worked with people who their T.S.W was like blisters. And so T.S.W is not the same thing as when you have eczema, dermatitis, and psoriasis. Some of the symptoms can look similar and there are overlapping themes, but the good news is that they are two different things, but they are healed through the same methodology, through the gut biome, through healing your gut biome, through healing your hormonal system, through cleaning out and making your filtration organs work properly, through addressing the immune system. And then finally what happens is the autonomic nervous system, the inflammatory response, stops happening and stops sending those triggers to your skin to inflame. With the T.S.W, basically you have to really reestablish your hormones and your body's ability to communicate with itself properly. You also just have to simply give the T.S.W time to filter out, just like you do the eczema, just like you do the dermatitis. So the good news is, whether you choose to wean off or whether you choose to go cold turkey and you're trying to heal your skin at the same time, all three are going to be positively affected by the same protocol. Customized diet, customized cleansing, and customized lifestyle will do the job perfectly. So that's the good news. Back to my story. So for me, I didn't really know if it was a T.S.W issue or if it was just extreme eczema, dermatitis, and flare-ups due to starting the healing process, removing all the medications, and starting the process of cleansing and detox. Because as you know, when you start the healing process, the skin can definitely go a little bit crazy, and it will be a little bit up and down during the healing process because it's an immune issue, and the immune system is just like that. So really what I'm focused on and what I want to give you guys some information on is this. Green tea latte, love it. So what's in my cup? For those of you who maybe are new and don't know, it's matcha green tea and raw goat cream together, made into a latte. It's delicious. It's my morning drink. And so here's the drawbacks to weaning off. the longer you are taking the steroid creams or the cortisone creams, it does push your overall healing timeline back. Now, that doesn't really matter because no one knows what their healing timeline is anyway. But there is the possibility that even using a little steroid creams still will produce that message, that false message that confuses your body. And if you're still using cortisone and steroid creams, you may not be able to read your biomarkers and your biofeedback because of the steroid creams affecting the filtration organs and the hormonal system, which are the two main sources of biofeedback that we look at. So that can be a challenge if you're going to wean off. Now, you do have to customize your entire program. And so if you're someone who is going through some absolutely crazy flare-ups and it makes it so that you can't even live your life in any way, shape, or form, you can't walk around, you can't do anything, you can't go to work, you can't do anything, and your only chance is slowly weaning off the steroid cream so that you can actually eat the food and do the movements to heal yourself, that might be a choice that you could make. That might be a good route for you. Also, sometimes when you go cold turkey, especially if you've been really, really abusing and addicted to the steroid creams for a long time, the withdrawal symptoms are extremely harsh and they can knock you on your butt bigger than the eczema and dermatitis and psoriasis even could. So you do have to look at your background and you do kind of have to have an idea of what could happen. If you're weaning off, you either have to understand that, hey, this weaning off process might help me feel a little bit better, which is totally understandable and totally viable, but it might take me a little bit longer to customize the diet and then to naturally fully heal the skin. Now that's okay, you just have to be aware. Or you might say that, okay, I have to wean off because I will get infections and I have such a crazy withdrawal from it that it just makes no sense to go through that amount of pain. You can kind of look at it like a heroin abuser. When you quit heroin, you're either going to go through the process of, for like a week, feeling absolutely on death's door. It's one of the most, I've never experienced it, but it's one of the most painful things, withdrawals that you can go through. And so what they do with people coming off heroin is they use methadone. I think that's what it's called. Probably said it wrong, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And methadone, that's what it is. And so with the methadone, it's basically a synthetic, smaller version, lighter version, controlled version of the same neurotransmitters and the same chemicals that are released when you take heroin. So instead of taking a heroin injection and possibly dying all the time and trying to wean yourself off of heroin with heroin, people turn to methadone and it allows them to slowly wean off. A lot of people have success using the wean off approach with methadone and heroin. I have had plenty of clients who've had great success using the wean off method with steroid creams as well, and it can be a very similar situation. You just have to know what you're getting yourself into. So that's the wean off method. Let's talk a little bit about doing it cold turkey. Why did I do it cold turkey? To be totally honest, I wanted to heal as fast as possible, and for me personally, the possibility of the intensity of my flare-ups and the withdrawal, it didn't matter to me at all. I just didn't care. I was willing to run through a brick wall, do whatever it took to get my skin and my overall health where I wanted it to be. So I quit absolutely cold turkey, and like I said, for me personally, it worked really well. But again, you do have to be aware that the possibility of going through some very, very intense situations might be there, and you have to really understand that and be willing to kind of go through that type of pain and that type of suffering. Again, for me, it was a no-brainer. Boom, quit cold turkey and just get the job done. So that was my approach, and it took me 1 year from quitting the steroid creams and starting my healing protocols to fully heal my skin. And the healing was not linear. It was up and down and all over. Finally, in about month 12 and a half, I had a huge gnarly flare-up. I had a huge poop that released all this gnarly black mucoid plaque. And then about a week, 2 weeks later, my skin was really clean and clear, and I never had a flare-up again. That was 9 years ago. So I just wanted to give you guys some information about my experience both with addiction to steroid creams, how much I took, and why I chose to not wean off and instead just go cold turkey. But I will leave you guys with this. Every aspect of healing your skin is gotta be very personal and very customized for you as a human being. And just know that there are good and bad things that can happen from either approach. So just choose your approach wisely. I will say this though, if you continue to use steroid creams, and a lot of people ask me, well, can I just heal my skin and use steroid creams at the same time? And actually that does not work. You eventually have to get off the steroid creams and the cortisone in order for the body's hormonal system and filtration system to fully heal. And your skin won't fully heal until the hormonal system and the filtration systems have become ultra balanced. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I wish you guys all the best luck on your journey. Tune into the channel for all the information that you need to customize your diet and heal. For those of you who are looking for some help, for some coaching, all of my offerings are down in the description box. There's a link for a consult. There's a link for the 3 Phases Workbook, which is my ebook for customizing the diet and cleaning your, detoxing your body, step-by-step guide for doing a drug-free healing of your skin. And then last but not least, down in the description box is Skinessa, which is the probiotic that I use every day. My clients use it too. It's really highly effective, and I recommend it 100% to anyone who needs a good probiotic. Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it. I'll be back with many more videos really soon. Peace.